I've seen different memes about people saying, you know, when you get a corporate job, a 9 to 5 job, you gotta cut your hair just to kind of conform and fit in. And I know it's all for laughs and for memes and for jokes, but there are certain people that actually feel like they have to conform and kind of change who they are. And I just want to make this tip to kind of tell you that the thing you think is a disadvantage is actually an advantage. Now, you guys can see I have looks. I have a business and I work corporate 9 to 5 as property manager. So I do both. Me having looks is more of an advantage than you think. Now, you're probably thinking, how on earth is you having looks, which is something that's so unorthodox in the workspace, especially dipped dyed looks. You're thinking, how on earth are you getting away with this? Isn't this looking unprofessional? Da, 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 da. You may think that, but the reality is no. One thing I've learned is, well, from my experience anyway, is they care more about my character and my results. So when I work with clients, they care more about if I actually know what I'm talking about. They care about who I am as a person, and they care about if I'm actually going to deliver. So in my business, we help people invest in properties and we help landlords find tenants. The landlord cares if I'm going to find them a good tenant that's actually going to pay on time, and the person who's going to be the tenant, the investor, they care if the deal I'm finding them is actually going to be profitable. They don't give a toss that I have dreads. They do not care. They just care if I can actually do what I need to do. While I work in my 9 to 5, they just care that I can do my job. As long as I can do my job, it's good. Now, here's where the advantage actually comes in. Me having locks, I promise you, they're more likely to remember me than one other person who has a low fade and a beard. Because I'll be honest, there's so many of you guys with your tapers and everything. I can name so many of my friends who have that same trim. Tell me one person you know who has dyed looks. They're more likely to remember me. Now, the fact that they're more likely to remember me, I have all of this attention on me. Now, it's up to me to decide what I want to use that attention, what I'm going to do with that attention. So if I'm now terrible at my job, that's my own because all eyes on me. However, if I'm good at my job like I am, and I'm good in my business like I am, people are going to remember me because of how I look. They're going to be like, oh yeah, I remember that guy, he had looks, the one with dipped dyed looks, yeah. I remember he was doing so. They're more likely to remember me just based off of this. So your hair that you might seem as a disadvantage because it's unprofessional, which is a joke anyway, is actually something that's going to make them remember you more, and you can actually use it to your advantage.